Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's still morning, but it's almost afternoon because of the weather. Right, so today we are going to do a little bit of revision of the writing that you have written the week before our holiday. Okay, so at the end of this lesson, you are going to review your writing again. I'm not going to assign you any new task. You are just going to look back at your writing and try to improve them based on the criteria that I have set lah for you for today. Okay, so without further ado, I think I can start the presentation of what I found from the writing that you have done. Okay, so from the writing that you have done the previous past 2 weeks is that I noticed that there are quite a number of things, repetitive things that's happened in a few work, not just a few, most of the work, right? And I think that's probably because lack of explanation from me. And I think we can basically do that. We can basically rectify that. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for coming in. All right, we can rectify that from this lesson. Okay, so this lesson will be focusing on only only paper 2 and part 2. Part 2 is the opinion essay or factual essay that you must write, and it's an obligatory question. It's what we call soalan wajib lah that you have to answer. Okay, so let's look at the issues that we have, that I have with your work, the previous work. Okay. Okay, before we start, I think it's imperative for me to mention that the writing that you have for part 2, it's a bit strict because it doesn't have any specific genre. And if you can remember, they are almost like your part 2 for PT3 paper. I know that you didn't sit for your PT3 paper, but I'm sure that you still remember the format for part 2. Okay, so this is how I want your writing to be when you are writing for part 2 later, perhaps in your final exam or in the future, your SPM and your trial. Okay, let's start the slideshow if I can get them in full window. Okay, so we are revisiting this because, like I mentioned, this is what I'm going to do in the next few weeks because we are going to focus on SPM paper alone. Okay, so after this part 2, I'm going to ask you to do other parts as well, and then I'm going to mark, and then we are going to have this session every time you finish your essay. Just to remind you, I noticed that there are 2 students that submitted this work quite late. I noticed that this morning. So I can't give your work promptly because you just send in your work. So you need to improve your essay as we go along, okay, without me marking your work yet. Okay, so let's start. All right, so for today's lesson, we are going to focus on 2 things here, okay? Vocabulary age or English vocabulary profile. Okay, so vocabulary age, in case you haven't seen your feedback that I've given you, okay, let me just show you. Okay. Okay, in the feedback, there is a section called vocabulary age. Okay, let me just look at the feedback again. Okay, this can only be seen if you do this. If you do your work on Google Doc, okay, if you use your, if you screenshot your essay and whatnot, that is difficult for me to give such feedback. Okay, so be alert that I want your feedback. I want your writing to be on Google Doc. Okay, let's look at one of the example here. Okay, let's look at what do we have here? Created. Let's look at. Okay, let's look at Alia Maisara's work. Okay. Please be aware that this is not me trying to target on you or anything. It's just me of showing what it is. Okay. So for Alia Maisara's vocabulary age, it's let me just zoom it a bit. Okay, if you can see there, the vocabulary age for Alia Maisara here is 14 years old, 14.54 years, meaning that it's almost 15 years old lah. Okay, so again, because you're already 16 years old, I'm expecting you to get more of vocabulary age of better lah, like 16 to 17 years old. Meaning to say, when I say that I want a vocabulary age of 16 to 17 years old, meaning to say that you need to use vocabulary of higher level. Okay. But please do not confuse vocabulary of higher level with bombastic words. That's not what I meant. Okay. It is just the accuracy of the words that you are using will affect your vocabulary age. Okay. Let me just share the window that we have just now for PowerPoint. Okay, so that is what vocabulary age is. Okay. Vocabulary age. Okay. And introduction, closure, paragraphing skills. Okay, so these are the issues that I found in your work. Okay, vocabulary age, because they are too young. Vocabulary age, sometimes they are 10 years old, 11 years old, means that your repertoire, your vocabulary choice is not that wide or it's not that accurate. That's why it's at of a younger level. Okay, you should be at least in 15 to 16 years old already. Okay, and later I will explain to you how are you going to use English vocabulary profile to measure your choice of vocabulary. Okay, and then after that we are going to talk about introduction, closure, and paragraphing skills. Okay. So how are you going to use English vocabulary profile? Okay, this you are going to go to a very specific website. Okay, I'm sorry, you have to, I'm going to come in and come out from the screen a lot because I'm using a lot of tabs. Okay, this is the vocabulary profile that that you need to use when you try to identify your level. Okay, so your level should be at least from a lot of B2 to C2. Okay, let's look at how it works. Okay, this is the website. Let me just share them in the comment section. Okay, so how it works is that after you have after you have written your essay, okay, what you need to do is that you need to highlight. Okay, you need to highlight all the words that you have written. Okay, please be mindful that for part 2, you are only expected to write until 190 words. Okay, so do not write beyond that. Okay, so this is the text. Okay, you copy and then you paste them. And then what you can see there, you click Start Workflow. Okay, let's wait. Okay, as you can see there is a range of vocabulary being used in that text. Okay, so as you can see there, okay, this is quite good because this particular student has a vocabulary level of B2 and C2. But most of the vocabulary choice of this writer is A2 and A1, A2 and B1. Okay, so to be a good one, your B2 numbers has to be higher lah. Okay, not just 2. It could be 5 or 6. All right, to make sure that you can get a very strong marks for your language for part 2. Okay, so that's how you're going to check your work. All right. So that is English vocabulary profile. You can do this when you are writing your essay, since that we are not using what we call manual way of writing, basically writing on a paper. We are writing electronically, so you can use this. Okay. All right. So after that, after the English vocabulary profile, let me just share the PowerPoint again. Okay. So again, aim for level B2 and C2. Okay, so this is to improve your vocabulary profile. Okay, so if your vocabulary always in B2 and C2, you are on the right track to get at least a 4 or 5 for language marks. Okay. Okay, so number 2 is the introduction or closure or paragraphing skills. I do not know what's going on with you. I thought that this is something that what we call self-explanatory. When you are writing an essay, you are expected to have introduction, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, and conclusion. So you need to have at least 5 paragraphs. But what I received was, I'm not saying that your quality of writing is bad. Your quality of writing is quite good, but it doesn't have the structure that it needs to have when you are writing an essay. Meaning to say that I cannot see any paragraphs. So it's quite sad lah when I get that kind of writing. Okay. Okay, if you can look at this example. Okay, again, I'm not shaming anybody. This is just an example. Okay, please take this as a way of me trying to as a learning process. Okay, right. As you can see here, there are no paragraphs at all. Like, there are 2 paragraphs, but they are not being well written. Okay, that's fine. We are going to explore a bit further after this. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, right? For this part of the lesson is the this part of the writing is the introduction. Okay, and then first of all, this has to be in first para. Okay. Okay, after that, okay, first of all, there are many members of the family, right? In addition, whenever you have difficulty, there was a sibling who would defend you. Okay, and then you mentioned about besides. Okay, this is second para. Okay, and then besides, when you live with siblings, you can borrow things and learn to get along with others in a better way. Okay, tolerance, love, and caring. Okay, this is right. This is the third paragraph. Sorry, I'm making a mistake. Okay, it should be here. Second para, third paragraph. Okay, and this should be fourth paragraph. Okay, all right, that's how it should be. Okay, and the last one would be, okay, the last one would be okay, so there's no proper closure here. Okay, so there's no proper closure here. So that is very, that's what I meant by you not having the proper introduction and closure. Okay, so it's very important to have that when you are writing an essay. Doesn't matter what level you are in, those things has to be there. Okay, let's look at the next. Okay, I'm sure this is quite small. I'm going to share with you the slides on Telegram later. Okay, so this is how you are going to write your introduction. Okay, your introduction must have first a general statement or rhetorical question. You know, like, for example, have you ever wondered? Okay, or do you think? Okay, it's just a way of you trying to grab the attention, and it doesn't have to be very long because this is quite a short essay. It's 120 to 150 words, I think, for part 2. Okay, we almost use most instead of some, believers to think. Okay, and after you mention all this, if you have all this general statement and rhetorical questions, you go straight towards the how to qualify the argument. Okay, so meaning to say you have to explain further and further, maybe try to show several sides of the issue. Meaning to say, if you look at one issue, you have to look at it at different angles. Okay, So you have to mention lah. If you strongly agree something is about something, there's also a set of things that you need to consider. Okay, that's how you qualify the argument. Okay, for paragraph 2, you have introduction, topic sentence. Topic sentence is like how you are going to explain. It's like a general idea of your paragraph. Okay. Okay, normally for paragraph 2, we put advantage 1. Okay, what is the advantage 1? Because it's always an opinion, right? For instance, in your previous essay, it was about only siblings or 10 siblings. So perhaps if you choose that you want to have 10 siblings, you have to talk about advantage 1. Okay, what is the advantage to have 10 siblings, and then the reason why is it advantageous to have 10 siblings, and you give examples. So it's like 1 1 1, advantage 1, reason advantage 1, and specific example. Okay, that's how you should build your argument for paragraph 2. So there are phrases that I want you to use introducing the topic. First of all, I would like to say that the first point I would like to make is, okay, so you are going to use this in your essay when you revise them later. Okay? Okay, paragraph 3. Okay, again, advantage 2, reason disadvantage 2, and specific example. So again, use the phrases that are being given here. And then paragraph 4. Okay, this is where you sometimes talk about the other side of things. Okay, perhaps if you have talked about the advantages of having all 10 siblings for paragraph 2 and 3, you can talk about the disadvantage in paragraph 4. Only one disadvantage. Okay, and then specific example. And then after that, you need to have your conclusion. Summarize your view using different words from the introduction. You might want to add some further comment. Okay, so in conclusion, to sum up, however. All right. So that's how you should build your argument or write your part 2 question. Okay, now how do I want you to submit your work? Okay, so since that this is a revision, okay, so I don't want you to rewrite the whole thing. Remember, you are not rewriting the whole thing. You are going to improve the essay based on the things that I've explained just now. Okay, so what you need to do is that you're going to have the same, let me go back a bit. Okay, what you need to do is that, okay, let me just take one example. Okay, that's the wrong tab. Let me just share with you the tab. Okay, this is the tab that I've mentioned. Okay, so what you can do when you are trying to improve your essay is that, okay, all right, I want to show you something. Wait, let me look at the different classwork. Okay, let me look at the things that I haven't marked yet. Okay. Okay, I haven't marked this one. Okay, when you are improving your essay, I don't want you to use edit mode. Okay, you need to use the suggesting mode. Okay. Okay, the suggesting mode is here. If you can see that. Okay, this is the suggesting mode. Okay, when you are writing your essay, when you look back at your essay, when you are copying it back again, okay, you will choose suggest. You don't use edit. Edit means that I'm not going to be able to track what is it that you have changed. Okay. All right. After that, after you have suggest the differences, suggest the changes that you want, and then at the end of the essay, I want you to screenshot. Okay, let me just stop sharing. I want you to screenshot the profile that you have here. Okay, screenshot and then put in your Google Doc. Okay, so after you do that, you just submit to me back again lah. Okay. All right. I also like to point out that some of you did write quite long. Okay, and although those are very good essays, I would suggest that you stick to the 140 to 150. Sorry, 120 to 150 words of part two. Okay, so if your essay is too long, try to shorten them into 5 concise, succinct paragraphs. Okay, I've already assigned you the task in your Google Classroom. If you can look at your Google Classroom, that would be that. Okay. So far I don't have anything else to say. Any questions? Okay, I'm opening like 1 minute of you to try to think any questions and ask them in the live chat section so that I can address them, and then we can discuss about it. If no, just write no in the live chat section. Okay, most of you answered no. Anything else? Quite confident with the revision? Okay, I'm just going to clarify. I'm not going to ask you to write everything back again. I'm just asking you to improve on what we have discussed just now. Okay, if there's no question, I'm going to leave you up to the work, and I will post all this PowerPoint in our Telegram group. All right, thank you, class. Uh, there's one question here. All right, teacher, what are the examples of the vocabulary age words for our age group? That's why I need you to use the English vocabulary profile. We are not aiming for vocabulary age, but we are aiming for the level B2 and C2. So if you're already reaching B2 and C2, your vocabulary age will automatically become at least 15 to 17 years old. Okay? Yes, it's not bombastic word. Bombastic words could be not. It's more on the accuracy. For example, okay, if you like to use the word happy, okay, so happy is an A2 level. A2 level is 8 years old to 10 years 7 to 8 years old. Okay, so instead of using the word happy, you use the word such as elated or ecstatic. Okay, so it elevates the level of the words. Bombastic words means that it's the synonymous words, but it doesn't necessarily meant what you are trying to say. Okay? All right. Any other questions? No? Any other questions besides Kuvina's question?